Hey guys, AJ here, back with a quick live for you. Sorry about not having any type of prior notice, but guys, there are times where I find stuff that's so ridiculous. There's just so nuts that I just have to do a live. I put a little notice on the Discord, but I didn't get a chance to actually do a community post. But guys, come on. I found some of the craziest stuff. It's unbelievable, guys. Unbelievable. So we'll go over this news clip that I have, and man, guys, unbelievable. So what's the candidate in the house? What's up, man? Early on, right on. But yeah, let me here. I'm gonna drop the link first. So for anyone who wants to join, but guys, I know that on this channel I talk a lot about female predators and all these predators who are in the schools, right? And there is a news article that I found, and it's basically this guy saying that he thinks that it's justified that men get harsher sentences because one crime is quote unquote worse than the other, right? And that is that not the most like sexist thing that you've ever heard in your entire life? It's absolutely insane. So here, let me share my screen. Steve, man, how's the winter wonderland?
It's actually all melting right now.
Oh, really?
I just thought I'd get on, and if I have anything to add in,
Yeah.
I'd add it in because I'm
Yeah.
actually driving home from work right now.
Okay,
So
cool.
kind of putting it on my seat and listening.
Sleigh bells ring, are you listening? In the lane, snow's glistening. Oh man. Okay, here we go. Let me just share this. All right. Okay. So I think that I shared on News Nation did another report. They actually had a thing on this epidemic of female teachers doing this to people. So I think that was where I found this particular site from. But hold on. Give me 1 second. And guys, like the stream. I know that it was that is short notice, but yeah. So some of this is some of those knuckleheaded BS that I've ever heard. And guys, I believe preying on any gender, anything is wrong and should be punished equally, right? You protect all children of all genders. That's just the way it is. And you predators of all genders should be rounded up like the scum they are, right? So here, let's just jump into this real fast and see what's going on.
One question is whether there is a sentencing bias based on the gender of teachers who had a sexual relationship with their underage students.
Who asked that question? We all know that that's true.
Are female teachers more likely to escape harsh penalties than their male counterparts? And if so, is that necessarily a bad thing? It appears.
What?
Do you see where I'm going with this? I was driving and I swear I had to like almost pull off the road. I was like, what? Is this guy serious? But there's people who honestly believe this, who honestly believe that, oh, well, if it's a woman doing this to a little boy, he must like it. Ha, ha, ha.
I'm so tired of hearing that crap.
Okay, here we go.
It appears there hasn't been a national study recently, but a 2013 analysis from New Jersey's Star Ledger looked into 97 cases in that state in response to the high-profile case of Erica DiPaolo, a high school teacher in West Orange, New Jersey, who was not sentenced to any prison time, but instead to lifetime parole supervision for a sexual relationship she had with a 15-year-old student.
No prison time at all.
I don't know how I forgot this, but this just made me remember.
Is this in Michigan too?
Yo.
What I'm about to tell you is, okay, so my wife, her sister dated a guy in high school, right? I mean, obviously, and her ex-boyfriend from high school, he got married to a woman who became a teacher, is like probably 3-4 years ago, and she was doing this crap to one of her students.
Wow.
And yes, it was in
What?
Michigan. And he stayed with her, dude.
What?
Yeah, he stayed with her.
What was the age difference?
Oh God, I don't remember all the details, to be honest with you. But I
20
know that they
years?
were. I know the kid was in high school, and she was
Ah.
in her mid to late 20s.
Oh my gosh.
Knucklehead.
So just real quick, because coincidentally I saw this earlier, and I was hoping AJ, that you do this, because I know you do TCAP related stuff, and don't let anyone ever tell you that you shouldn't do TCAP related stuff on a TCAP channel, because I think it's fantastic. This goes to Steven too. Do you think that it's always been this way? Has there been an uptick in this type of stuff? Like, has
Hold
it
on,
always
guys.
been this
Hold
way?
on. Jameson's in the house. What's going on? Josh is in the house. How are you, pal? And Jaggy Babs is in the house. What's going on? Keep going.
So, do you think it's always been this way and media is finally catching up? Or do you think that there's been an uptick? And if you think there's an uptick, why?
Okay, I think that this has happened. It's always been a thing, but our culture now, because of social media, is a youth focused culture, right? So when I was 20, 42-year-olds didn't act and look the way that I act at 42. I looked younger. I dressed more like, I mean, I'm not the most fashionable guy, but what I'm saying is people in their 20s and late 30s and early 40s are kind of all listening to the same music. We kind of dress the same. We buy the same shoes or whatever. Think about when we were those of us who were in the 30s and 40s. When we were like 13, our teachers were 25, but they were like older. They were all like married. They're all, like adults. You know what I'm saying? And now there's people like, for instance, I'm not married. I don't have kids, right? So I'm not quote unquote adulting old school style, But I think a lot of these now most teachers are female. You have these 24, 25, 28-year-old teachers that still see themselves as like, oh, they look at these 14-year-old boys, and there really isn't. Yes, there's the predo thing too, but they see the whole swag and all that stuff, and they're attracted to it. They aren't. You know what I'm saying? Like the lines are all blurred generationally, and then I think that leaves the door open for more of these female predators to kind of have that type of behavior.
I would agree.
Oh, Josh, don't. Josh says, I'm approaching that age where I'm wondering if I should tone down my style, but even people in the 50s try to. Look, Josh, don't ever tone down your style. If you got a nice style and it works for you, keep at it, man. You know what I'm saying? And don't let anyone ever tell you otherwise. Anyways, who was saying something?
Oh, because I think that there's a rise. Okay, first off, women they think that they can walk in the world of men, but and I think that they can a lot of the time, but they have to suffer the consequences. And a lot of women are like, oh yeah, men, blah blah blah, but they just don't connect. Like men, we're forced to deal with the consequences of our actions and always consider it, most of us, whereas this is kind of new to a lot of women when it comes to this type of stuff. And I just think a lot of them, there's a lot of lonely single women, or a lot of women that have these unrealistic expectations of relationships, and they get into these positions of power, and they don't have to.
And they want to be with the captain of the football team, whether he's older and graduated or he's still in high school, So
and I think there's just a cognitive dissonance. Like women just don't think that they're gonna. So men, we don't have that. That's not gonna be me. Well, a small percentage of us do, which is why TCAP exists. But I think the majority of women are still able to walk through the world.
This comment said, only people who are addicted to the internet can be predators, right, Chris Hansen? That's the one thing that always irks me about TCAP. Anytime I hear that, I'm like, Chris, really? Come on, man. Come on. Anyways, let's just jump back into
Yeah.
Well,
But I just think that there's a cognitive dissonance and like a disconnect because like the majority of women just they're able to walk through without having the same through life without having to suffer the same consequences as men, and like the majority of women, especially women teachers, just think I will not get caught.
Yeah, and also
so
what this is arguing for women not getting the same consequences, because you'll hear this knucklehead that they bring up arguing for that. What were you saying, Steve?
are
Sorry.
you asking like if it's more common now for women to do it as opposed to previously, or just altogether, men and women?
I think that there's always been teachers, male and female,
Yeah.
preying on students, but I think there's so many more. Like that the majority of teachers are female now. The majority it was like 85%
Yeah.
or whatever, and then also they're younger now, at 22 years old, and then kids are getting. I mean, you have kids in high school that are 6 foot. I mean, 6'4", 6'8". You know what I'm saying? And like what makes a 24-year-old and a 16-year-old listen to the same music, look at the same celebrities now, right? So I think that a lot of times these women who are into this behavior, I don't know if it's emboldened them or what, but I don't know.
I guess the way I look at it is,
Sorry.
it just as in society as a whole, I don't think that people change much ever. Like over time, I don't think that the people of today are that much different than the people of 200 years ago, even though we like to
I
pretend
do.
to be.
I mean, not around the world, but in the West, yes. Because in the 50s, my dad and my granddad, their generation could graduate from high school, work at a factory, find a wife, have kids, raise them on one income, send their kids to college, right?
No,
Now there's an
I
article
agree.
that I just read on that 63% of men between the ages 19 and 29 are single. 63%. That
Mhm.
has never happened before. People might not have changed, but their expectations, like women's expectations have, and a lot of it's social media and the media and all this other stuff, where the 80% of women only want the top 20% of guys.
Uh-huh.
It's the Pareto principle. Now, it might not be like that in like middle America, but if you go to the coasts, if you look at all the studies, all the polls, most people meet each other on dating apps now. That's the number one way people meet.
50% of people.
Men swipe right, or however you do it. Men swipe right 55% of the time, and women swipe right less than 7% of the time. Women are pickier now than they've ever been, so they all want the same 6 foot, 6-figure, 6-pack guy, right? Which is a small percentage of men. The average man makes $51,000 a year, right? So you have all these young guys in their 20s saying, look, I try and ask girls out. I try and do all this stuff, and all of them are on Instagram trying to get these fake or whatever Instagram billionaires, or these rappers or NBA players, or all this other stuff.
Yeah,
So
I guess more what I was referring to is like, people are always going to do bad things to each other. I think that it just, the way that it gets done gets changed over time, but not the
yeah,
actual. I don't know if that makes sense, but we're always going to be finding ways to hurt people, and
yeah. Well, I just think
it's just different from one generation to another how it's done. I guess is what I
yeah,
was
but I
trying to
just
say.
think that if you put the majority of teachers, okay, listen, I would say that there's a minority of every group that's bad. Okay, a minority of black people can do bad stuff. A minority of men, of women, of any group. There's a small
Right.
group that are bad. if you allow more of that group into that thing, there's going to be more doing bad things. So now there's more women as teachers. If the majority are, that means that there's going to be more of that minority in there. Does that make sense?
I was just saying more like on a big picture, I guess.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know if what I'm trying to articulate is making sense.
Yeah,
I'm not saying it very well, I don't think.
It's all good. But Luna says that things in Japan, dude, Japan's bad. Japan's bad, and then Korea's bad. They have negative population growth, the likes of which have never been seen in a developed first world country, right? And that's because young people aren't getting together. They aren't coupling. They aren't having kids. It's not like they're just not getting married. They're not having kids. They're not having relationships. So now they have a top-heavy society. And the economy can't function, you know? It's scary over there. And China's going to be the same way here soon. So, well, okay, men want anonymity in how they're predators, yes, and women want they prey on those who have relationships. That is true. Yep, here we go.
Cases the paper analyzed were between 2003 and 2013, and they found that female teachers did tend to get lighter sentences than the men. They reported that male defendants went to prison in 54% of cases, compared to 44% of cases for female defendants.
That is nuts. Think of this.
Why is it less than 100% for either?
that you can't even say that the majority of women that are defendants of that have essayed a person go to jail. You can say that the majority of men that are found guilty of doing this go to jail, because anything over 51% is a majority. For the 44%, that's less than half. That's crazy.
Men averaged 2.4 years in prison, compared with 1.6 years
that's
in
just
prison.
Not enough. Period.
All of those numbers are too low.
Man. What's going on?
And for women. Another important fact here, 93 of the 97 cases ended in plea deals.
Wow.
But if you look across the country, there are plenty of examples where female teachers face harsh punishments. Just look at Grand Rapids, Michigan, where in 2014, Abigail Marie...
Dude! Come on!
He's talking about Michigan again.
Wait a minute. Let me hear her name.
Oh, man. That's going to be like a running gag. It's going to be like 3 years from now. Steve's going to be like, oh, man, here we go again.
Marie Simon, a tutor and academic advisor at a
Marie
Catholic
Simon?
school. Marie Simon,
yeah,
a tutor and academic advisor at a Catholic school, was convicted and sentenced to spend between 8 and 25 years behind bars for having sex with a 15-year-old at the school.
Oopsie.
There's also the case of Stacy Schuler, 2011. The Ohio gym teacher sentenced to 4 years behind bars for having sex with 5 male students.
5!
Multiple of them on the school's football team.
Agent,
and back in New Jersey.
I just remembered.
He dropped the link in the chat.
Yeah.
Because someone wants to come in. Luna raised that they want to come in.
Yeah.
I just remembered part of why the case that I was telling you about was so crazy, because the teacher that got caught was also giving, I hope I'm allowed to say this, was giving the student drugs that he was dealing with. Like prescription medications.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I dropped the link again, guys. So anyone who wants to jump on. Let's see.
Jersey is the case of Lauren Coyle Mitchell, the Jersey City second grade teacher who was sentenced to spend 5 years behind bars in 2015 for having an affair with a female student. So look, do I think it's okay that the men seem to be getting longer sentences? On the whole, Yes, I'm okay with it.
You piece of dog crap, you. I'm gonna try to not swear because it's YouTube, but this guy. Oh my gosh, he has a punchable face, anyways, right?
How does somebody's logic get from point A to point B in that? I don't
I don't know.
understand.
I don't know. We talk about equality and all this other stuff, and then this knuckleheaded crap happens. And guys, like I said, I think that it should be equal across the board. And by saying that it's okay that men should get more time, is basically saying that women are that men. Okay, someone else say something.
Yeah, this is figures. I always say, social constructs haven't caught up to instinctual biases and biological reality. It just hasn't yet, and it's not gonna. So we have all these social contracts. Oh yeah, because I'm one of those people. I think there should be no mercy for for male predators and female predators.
Yeah,
And here's the thing:
and one strike you're out. How about that?
we're not gonna ease up on men anytime soon. So all we can do is just increase the punishment for women. Bury them both under the jail. How about that?
Yep, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think most all of these cases are bad. And as I said before, I think they should all be prosecuted. But I am okay.
Anything before but is bullshit. we know that. Anytime anyone says but, it means anything before that is BS. Or however, right?
With the sentences generally being tougher for the men. Said it earlier, the male teachers are the vast majority of those committing these crimes. There is a deterrent effect. It also seems that often the male teachers are more predatory than the female.
What are you talking about? This guy, this is the biggest bunch of crap that I've ever heard, guys. And this is why young boys will continue to be victimized, and no one's gonna do anything. I mean, and it's because of guys like this. It's this whole viewpoint.
Male teachers who often seem more troubled and claim that they were the.
Luna's in the house. Luna, how are you?
Hi. Oh my god, it's so late. I'm so sorry, but I just wanted to say, whenever I talk about Japan, I'm instantly like, oh, I should be there. so I just wanted to say something. Sorry for the horrible accent. Just wanted to say, they actually prevented women in Japan to join medical schools because basically the women, when they get married, leave the job because they don't give them enough time to raise the kid. Basically, like they have to get some what is it called in English? I have no idea.
Maternity leave.
Maternity leave. Yeah.
Yes.
There you go.
Thank you. So it's very short. So women basically leave their jobs to raise their kids, and because of that, they basically made it harder for women to actually join. And so that's why naturally women prefer to rather than getting married or having relationships, they prefer to focus on their jobs. So that's why it's insanely plummeting in Japan. That's what I wanted to say.
Well, there's a lot of so I watched a thing on these people who live in internet cafes, because there's a lot of like social expectations and traditions for when people do meet, like who's your family, blah blah blah, right? That gets in the way. So people tend to talk anonymously online in Japan and in Korea, right? Because if you don't come from a good family, you can't get married, blah blah blah. Also too, because remember, the thing about a lot, even in the West here, a lot of women and people say that they're putting off marriage and relationships for their careers. Most people don't have careers. Most people have jobs, right? All right. Think about what a career means, right? Most people have a job, a regular 9 to 5. I get up. I'm not going to change the world. I'm not going to cure cancer. I'm not going to, be some VP of mergers and acquisitions. I have a regular, middle class job. And I don't believe that a job is justification enough to put off coupling, right? To actually put off, I don't ever want kids, right? Like that's just me. But I don't think that I want to live the rest of my life by myself because of a job that's going to replace me the moment that I'm gone. Like
Yeah, I'll
you
add to
can
that.
be a career person all you want, but once you retire or once you grow, they're just going to find another person. So you're better off putting that effort into a family, whether you have kids or you get married or whatever, that's going to actually care about you if something happens. What were you saying?
So, Luna, I'm going to hit you with a couple things. So, in the United States, there's science, technology, engineering, and math, right? Those are the engineering degrees, the math degrees that that create infrastructure, right? Only 9.5% of women in the United States get STEM degrees, right? 52% of women in STEM fields either go to part-time or change industries after they have a child, because most jobs in science, technology, engineering, and math they require a lot of time and effort. And once a child is born, it's just natural for a woman to want to take care of the children. And so um uh, in the United States, it's good. First off, only 9.5% of women are going into the medical field. All the rest of the women are getting like social science degrees, like psychology and marketing and stuff. And one last piece, I don't know how it is in Japan, but the average woman in the United States, so this is about 53%, make about $38,000 a year. And only 7% of women in the United States make over 100,000. It's 10% of men make $100,000 a year or more, and only 7% of women make $100,000 a year or more. So like you and you really have to think about, so United States, we've kind of reached a crossroads where like you have all these women saying that they don't need a man, but they can't afford you can't afford life without one, but then you don't need a man. Understand what I'm saying? So like it's just I just hope that if you're a woman, and also you have to decide what your life goals are, because
Well,
go ahead. I'm
Doug,
sorry.
here's the issue, and I'm going to jump back to this here. Is this in Japan and in Korea? They have a lot of women who are working as florists and other things, right? And now they're in retirement age, and they have no retirement, right? That's a big deal in Korea and in Japan. So they're like living in these communal golden girls type of situations where it's like a woman and her 4 friends, all living in this apartment, right? Because they didn't work the type of job that allows you to be single and retire, right? And that's what's happening here in the United States. On the West Coast, in Seattle, Portland, Oregon, and LA and San Diego, we're having homeless women now. Women are homeless. That's never been a thing. Most of the homeless around the world are men. If you go around anywhere, you see men sleeping on the street, whatever. But now you look in these tent cities in the West, and there are women in there now, because a lot of them didn't. They were working at a regular retail job, and then they hit 70 or 65 and didn't have enough money to retire. So now they're out in the street. And like Josh says, America's not set up for single people. You have to have 2 incomes now in order to buy a house, have money to retire, hope to send your kids to college. So in Japan, so the whole doctor thing, Scandinavia is different, where most doctors are women, but they give more paternal and fraternal care. So, anyways,
the victims.
You-
Social stigma remains different for the boys and girls. Again, talking about 16 or 17 or 18, not 12, 13.
And Luna, your English is great. I mean, I have cousins from down south in Louisiana who grew up speaking English, and I can't understand a word that they say.
Oh my god.
If you ever come to the States and you hear some of the people who are from different parts of the United States, and you're like, dude, I can't understand what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, the problem is I'm always teaching online. I'm teaching as a Turkish person Japanese in English.
Oh, really?
so,
Don't
so
you also speak German?
yeah, I also speak German.
That's
So,
awesome.
but I've been speaking German for too long, so I think like my English is slipping away.
Well, I remember. So I used to go to Argentina a lot, and my friends down there run like a nonprofit there to teach kids English because it gives you more job opportunities. But they learn like what's now the King's English, right? So they were like, "Can we practice an American accent on you?" And I'm like, "Okay." They're like, "Hi, y'all." I'm
Oh dear Lord.
we don't all have Southern accents, but they learn like English instead of American English. So okay.
That's too funny.
13, etc. Whether that should or shouldn't be the case is a separate discussion. But joining me now is Billy Jo Grant, the COO of McGrath Training Solutions. She's a nationally recognized expert in school.
Look, she looks lost.
She's a nationally recognized expert in school employee sexual misconduct prevention. She has some more data.
She has that
Thanks so much
lemur
for coming on the
face.
show. Appreciate it. All right. Tell us what other numbers that you have on this issue of whether women teachers tend to get less harsh sentences than the men.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. We do have some data. It's from the year 2014, and as you mentioned previously, it's really difficult to find data on this issue. And the best that we're able to do is track Google alerts for teachers arrested. And so what we did is in 2014, there were 361 arrests for teachers that had sexual misconduct with students, and we charted the offender characteristics, the victim characteristics, the school characteristics, and characteristics about the crime. And we did find overall that females in our database received smaller sentences,
Of course.
and fewer months probation than males. However, do want to point out that not all sexual misconduct cases in this database are the same, and that they vary a lot with their severity.
Yep, absolutely. And you know, it is hard to make the comparisons because, as I was talking about with a guest earlier in the show, a lot of the female cases tend to involve students who are close to their age. And a lot of the male cases involve much greater.
That is, come on. What does that
What's wrong
matter?
with these people?
What does that matter? So she's 24 and he's 17 or he's 16. What does that matter? How is that different than a person who's 65 and the girl's 14? How does that make a difference? Man, it's such BS.
Greater disparity, etc. But let me ask you, you know, do you have a thought on whether you think it's fair, it's okay that women in a lot of these cases get lighter sentences?
Well, to go to the data, I will say that the females that we just showed having smaller sentences, we do find that the males target younger victims, which is a more egregious behavior. That
What are you talking about? Like, it's all bad. They should just say across the board, it's bad.
And females targeting older victims. We do find that males have multiple victims, or females may tend to target just one or fewer victims. Males are going to have a larger age gap between them. Again, a more egregious behavior. The cases involving males are going to usually involve pornography in almost 100% of the incidences. they're more likely to have prior allegations, and they're more likely to have been arrested previously for other types of crimes. So you could see how with the male sentencing, if it's a more egregious behavior, they've got priors, you're going to have a larger sentence that's going to be involved with those individuals than with.
I get the whole corn thing. Yes, if you victimize and then you have corn on your computer, yes, then the child corn can give you more charges. And yes, Jameson, the teacher that he did say, had more than one victim. So yeah, anyways, I think she meant on average, but
Females.
That's very important to highlight. What do you make of the fact that a lot of the women involved, I shouldn't say a lot, but a good number of the women involved portray themselves as the victims? We don't hear that much.
Of course they do, right? Like, here, hey, Luna, did you
Yeah.
see that thing in the news about the police officer in Memphis that got in trouble, the female police officer, because she was having relations with like every dude on the force?
What the?
Did
What?
you see that? They were
I didn't
having
know.
like hot tub parties and stuff, and like doing stuff in the police station. Now she's coming out and saying, I was a victim. They were victimized. Like, dude, no, they have text messages of her saying, yeah, meet me in the hot tub. Meet me in, let's do it. Woo!
What? Wow. I never heard of that. Wow, holy crap.
Much with the men, but the women saying 17-year-old, 18-year-old, whatever the case may be, initiated the sex and they didn't fight it off, so to speak.
Who does that sound like? That sounds like a couple of those guys. Cody Green. She asked me to come over. I mean, I didn't want to let her down or whatever. That's what it sounded like to me, you know?
These people don't understand that they can't give consent.
Yeah, they cannot consent, man. They just can't. That's true. Josh says 100% of them portray themselves as victims. That is true.
Yeah, and in our society,
what did that guy say to Kenneth Brinkman? You're the adult here, man.
we definitely have a power differential between students that are mandatory to go to school and teachers. So we have that power differential, but we also have a power differential between men and women.
Oh, come on.
Men
come on.
typically are in a power role, regardless if it's in a school setting or organizational setting or in a relationship.
So now she's saying that boys, because they're male or men, have some power over women that are adults and they're teachers. That is absolutely insane. I can't believe that I'm hearing this.
Men.
This thing should really
that
be.
Doesn't make any sense, at all.
She should be ashamed of herself for even saying that in the first place.
Are have traditionally been in a power role. And so that's going to come into play here, even though in this scenario, a female is in the power role as the teacher.
Are there more of these cases happening now, or is it sort of more of a media fiction, or are these women being prosecuted more in a way that maybe they weren't 10 years ago, 15 years ago?
The numbers still seem about the same, and that it's between 30 to 40%, depending on the database or what state or who's looking at data. But the numbers are around 30 to 40% female, and the 60 to 70% male, and it's stayed steady there. As far as Google alerts, we've been tracking those since 2014, and it's been pretty consistent between 400 to 600 cases a year since 2014 that are headline news. So for
what did she just say, guys? That are headline news, not just news. They haven't been checking the actual criminal databases, but that are headline news. You remember, most of these are played out, and oftentimes those don't make the news. You know.
Teachers arrested, and I do want to point out that those teachers arrested.
What's that?
And relevant. Like, what is
breaking up, Steven?
What does that matter? I said, how is that relevant? What does it even matter?
I don't know. I don't know. And I have to find a. I mean, we need to use this guy's name as a description for something derogatory on this channel from now on. I'll figure it out. We'll be like, don't be a Dan Abrams or whatever. Or if someone's, guys, if anyone's saying anything dumb in our chat, we'll say that don't be a Dan Abrams. Okay.
Can I say something as a teacher?
oh yeah. We have a teacher here.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Indeed.
I think this is just my opinion, but I think women usually get off too easily because I know we tend to be very closer to our students than males, basically. So I feel like there's this point of view where they think, oh, they're just being close to their students or whatever, because I've been how long have I been a teacher? Like 4 years maybe. and basically the students have an easier time approaching you as a woman, because with men I haven't seen that much, in my whole career. So basically I feel like since all of these students feel more comfortable talking with you, or like I'm sorry, I can't English today, but basically what I mean is, since you have a little bit more closer relationship with your students, I feel like people don't really realize that when women actually do the essay situation, it usually gets off easily.
Yes,
is what I mean.
That it's easier for people to let their guard down around women. And I would say that a female predator is the same as like a predator who's a pastor, or like a male predator who's a pastor, or who's in that position of trust, right?
Like so, I would have, for example, I had students who, as soon as I walked into the classroom, they hugged me, for example. Like, what can you do at this point? Like, you're, oh my God. So you're like, oh my God, your approach. And suddenly they're like hugging me, etc. Like I had, especially, oh my goodness, like little children or like hugging me, etc. So what can you do at this point? So it's really a tricky situation. You don't do these that much with male male teachers. So yeah, I think this is one of the reasons why these people really get off so easily. These women, I'm sorry.
Wow.
Yeah,
I agree.
Are only the ones that make the news, and many of these cases are handled internally and never get to the news headlines.
That's what I said.
And look, and I think that there is definitely a bias towards the physical attributes of someone. I think that when there is a particularly attractive woman, the news media tends to cover it more.
Shut up, Dan.
I think there is more interest. I think it leads to more discussion and debate, more jokes on the part of people who are having these discussions. And I think that's part of the quote unquote bias of the media, is towards, because it wouldn't happen with the men, right? With the men, it wouldn't matter what they look like. It would be immediately, characterized as a predator, a pervert, whatever the case may be. But with the women, sometimes there's the pictures of the women and how they look and et cetera, which does end up factoring into how the media covers this.
Yeah.
And that's still because we view the people think that the average predator looks like they think that the average predator is still some mustard, some mustache twirling bad guy, you know what I mean? Like Dick Dastardly, you know what I mean? That seriously. So when you see a young, attractive woman, it completely like blows this out of the water. So
Definitely, we see that in the Google alerts that the females will often be portrayed in a bathing suit, or they're portrayed, you just showed a cheerleader outfit, they're portrayed in a very provocative way, where the males are shown typically with a mugshot or not in a way that's sexualized. So oftentimes the female cases, even though there are fewer, they are sensationalized.
Yep. All right, Billy Joe Grant, thank you very much for taking the time. This is it's an important conversation. I understand that it can be controversial. People can, either take it too seriously, not seriously enough. And I appreciate the way that you focus on the data on this, and appreciate your time. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for covering the story.
Thank you for watching. Click the red.
Shut up, Dan. Guys, I have one more quick clip to show. This is the story of a woman in Colorado. 1 second. Here it is. Let me share my screen. So she admits to doing this, and she didn't get any jail time at all. Here we go.
A for action investigation. A 31-year-old woman who admits to having sex with a 13-year-old boy.
31 and 13. 31 years old and 13. Just wrap your head around that. Queen's in the house too. John's in the house. Run. Here we go, guys.
And then becoming pregnant with his child won't
What?
face any jail time under a plea deal with prosecutors.
11 call for action investigative report.
Did you hear that? So she got pregnant with his child, and they're not giving her any. Of course, this is in Colorado Springs, so
Matt Kroschel is joining us live tonight. Matt, 31-year-old Andrea Serrano was facing sexual assault charges, but accepted this new plea deal to stay out of prison.
Adam Serrano gave birth to a baby boy. She admitted to having sex with that 13-year-old.
Oh, man.
The victim's mother, who we're not going to identify in this story, tells us she is not happy with this deal offered to a
Gee, I wonder why.
woman she says ruined her son's life.
I feel like my son's robbed of his childhood. Now he's having to be a father. He's a victim, and he's gonna have to live with that for the rest of his life.
There you go, guys. I told you the one girl that I knew in high school, in college, she was 20, met a 15-year-old, got pregnant by him, and then not only did she not get jail time, she took his family to court, and they had to pay her child support.
Wait, is this the person you knew? Or...
No. This was 2004.
But it's kind of the same situation. You mean?
Yes.
Oh, I see.
And I guarantee, watch that she's gonna try and file for child support or whatever.
Ugh.
It's crazy. This is America.
Watching your son.
Oh, Jaggy Babs, guys. In grad school, I used to work at a welfare food stamp office, so I've seen some craziness, right? I did a food stamps case for a woman that was a 28-year-old grandmother. Guys, math that. Do the math. Wrap your heads. She's a 28-year-old grandmother.
I'm 28. What?
Yeah, like you have to laugh to keep from crying. But she had her daughter when she was 14, and then her daughter had a daughter when she was 13.
Holy crap.
Absolute clown world. And then another lady had 9 kids. She was 28 with 9 kids. And it's like, that means she was pregnant every year from when she was 18. Like, did you think that your birth canal just wouldn't work if you didn't use it every year? It's crazy, man. It's absolutely insane.
Struggle with the reality he now faces breaks her heart.
What has this been like for your son?
It's caused him a lot of depression. He's shut down a lot.
Now she questions why this woman won't face prison time.
I feel like if she was a man and he was a little girl, it would definitely be different.
Boom. There you go. Right there. Right there. If the genders were reversed, they would be burying him under the jail. And guys, this is not okay, because children should not be having, this type of behavior. Like, their brains are not developed. Like, this is going to affect his relationships with the opposite sex for the rest of his life.
They would be seeking incarceration. And I feel like because she's a woman, they're having compassion for her because she was pregnant. But I don't think they take into play, again, she was pregnant by a child. That child was created from a sexual abuse.
Under terms of the plea deal the suspect signed off on, she'll be required to register as a sex offender, and the judge could sentence her to 10 years to life of sex offender intensive supervised probation. But Serrano will avoid any jail time since the DA's office dropped the original charges to a lesser charge that does not come with mandatory jail time.
What should other parents be looking for?
Don't trust anybody, honestly.
There you go.
I mean, you can't trust anybody now.
Have you guys heard anything more real on a news interview? Don't trust anybody anymore.
The victim's family says they are looking for the next steps in this case, and they'll actually ask the courts to give custody to the 13-year-old of this baby. Adam and Lindsay, what we do know...
Just think of how crazy that is, too. Imagine being this boy's mom and trying to take this woman to court to get custody of your grandchild, and your son is 13. That's crazy.
Is that Serrano has a hearing coming up in May where she will learn how much probation time she'll have. Currently, Serrano has full custody of the baby. Back to you.
Okay, we'll follow up on that case. Matt, thank you.
Guys, what do you think? Whew. Crazy.
My night is ruined at this point. I'm speechless. Wow.
Absolutely insane, man. It's I mean, we try and move forward to be this more progressive and equal society. Then there's glaring things like this that show that people claim to talk about equality, but they only talk about it when it suits certain groups. And I believe there's certain things like the law and crime and punishment. We need to be as egalitarian as possible. We need to if you victimize children, they should be handing out sentences in years off your life, like playing cards. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
There's a story that came out recently where this teacher started playing Fortnite to start talking to one of her students outside of school.
Oh, I think that was in the previous live that I did from the News Nation thing. She was one of the ones in the video with the epidemic of female teachers doing
Yeah,
this.
and they were sleeping together for 3 years, and she ended up getting 60 days in jail, and that was it.
It's crazy, man. That is absolutely crazy. Queen says female predation is perfectly represented by the South Park skit about it. Yeah, that is true. That is really, 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 really true. John, I don't know if I can do a reaction to the South Park episode. I'll have to find it clipped up a bunch on YouTube, because the copyright will make Florida PD yeet us off of YouTube, and I don't need a copyright strike. So I can maybe find clips of it or clip it up myself, but I can't just put it on and have us watch it, because anything more than like 5 seconds of it is gonna get us put in. I mean, luckily, if you look at Joey's TCAP and Walls and Charles Lee Love, if you notice a lot of their TCAP stuff, they really cut it up. So I think it's Joey TCAP. He'll actually take small parts and mix them up just enough to where you can watch an entire stream, you can react to his, and not get a copyright. So that's a big thing that they end up doing that I have to be thankful for. But all right, you guys, we can kind of close this out. Closing remarks. Anyone?
I just want to say something. I remember a Dr. Phil episode with a teacher and a student where the mother actually came on and said, "Oh, this woman like sexually harassed my child, etc." Am I allowed to say that?
Just say harassed.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
No problem.
I remember like the boy was at that point an adult, like 18 maybe, and
Oh, here it is.
throughout the whole thing, the woman was still staring at the child like, baby, like it was horrible. Maybe you should react to that too, because it's horrible.
We can at least kind of open it up here. Let me see right here. This is it, right?
Oh, I think that's the one. Yeah.
Oh wait. Do this.
Now, Dr. Phil, you have to start and stop it like every 10 seconds.
Oh crap!
Hold on. This guy. It looks like he put a filter on it though. Maybe.
Well,
wow.
It's not on Dr. Phil's channel, so it should be good.
You know what I'll do, guys? Maybe I can. I'll upload this. I'll record like 10 minutes of it, and then upload it and see if it triggers the copyright thing. And if it doesn't, then I can. Or maybe I'll mirror it so that it's backwards, and then we can check it out. Let me see. But do they have the actual student on here?
Yeah,
there he is.
Was there, and the woman was staring. Baby, like holy crap! It was so.
Let's do like 5 seconds.
Student that you had sex with?
Yes.
Well,
you say,
AJ, I have the stream going on the live thing, and if something happens, I'll let you know.
Okay, let me see here. Let's just find a good part.
So y'all both had a good time.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God!
Coach having sex. He had his phone in his pocket, and then while having sex, he pulled it out, and I didn't see it, so I didn't notice. And it was only about 10 seconds. He's admitted that he distributed the video to 11 of his friends.
Oopsie!
His phone, and then from there, the video went to, I don't know, numerous amounts of people. When I found out there was a tape, I was in shock, felt betrayed. We had been talking for almost a month, so I trusted him.
Wait, how old was he? He was like 17?
I think he was 17, maybe. I don't remember. It's been a long time.
Wait, this was a while. Hold on. She's now suing him. Teacher guilty of sleeping with student is now suing him. And he was 17. Wow.
Like what did she expect? Like, of course the student would go, "Oh, I slept with my teacher," and suddenly just like go around and say that. Like, what did she expect?
Jameson says, "Put Dr. Wallen's face over Dr. Phil's face." Oh man! Oh man! Oh man!
That I could have sex with him and him not say anything, and we could keep it a secret.
Look at how they're portraying him with the black and white pictures, as if he's the bad guy here.
That I was set up. I do feel that there was some type of motive or intent to.
Yes, but you could have said no.
Get it out there that he had sex with a teacher.
Knucklehead.
Okay, Tanya, it's good to meet you.
No, it's not.
You say you felt like you were set up.
Correct.
You know what I can do? Watch this.
Put it at like 1.5 or something.
Yeah. How do I speed it up, Doug? MPA. I settings.
Go to settings.
Playback speed. 1.25. Let's see.
How so?
Well, the fact that he hid his phone, and then obviously as soon as it was finished, he distributed it to 11 of his friends, and then from there it went viral.
Okay, so you think it was like a trophy thing?
Correct. Like he wanted some kind of recognition after sleeping with a teacher.
You said that afterwards you were surprised that he didn't get in touch with you.
Mm-hmm. I'm surprised that there was no communication at all, even before.
So he just hit and quit. Bang and clanged and left, and she's mad. That's actually probably why she's mad.
I had gotten into trouble
But you did have communication with him, didn't you, the next day?
No. Oh, the next day, just one text in the morning, and that was it.
What was that text?
He texted me that he had a great night, or it was great, or something in that matter. And I text back that yes, it was. That maybe we could do it again.
He's laughing. Look at. Did you see him with his
The
mom?
next day?
No. Oh, the next day, just one text in the morning, and that was it.
What was that text?
He texted me that he had a great night, or it was great, or something in that matter. And I text back that yes, it was.
He's
that,
so proud. Holy
again.
crap.
So y'all both had a good time.
Mhm.
So this wasn't an impulse thing. You had been texting
I was hitting and quitting, sheeting and skeeting
for 3 weeks, right?
Mhm.
You say you didn't know it was wrong.
Well, I'm saying I didn't think it was legally wrong.
What?
Come on,
What?
man.
Come on.
And the fact that she's on national TV saying this.
Steven, please give us the Jeff Stacy. Come on. I didn't know.
Please.
Dude, my wife is standing right here and she's just shaking her head at me.
Did you see? I made a short on my channel out of your Jeff Stacy.
No,
AJ, I gotta drop off.
So,
But it was good talking to you guys.
All right, Doug. MPA, take it easy, pal. We'll just watch a couple minutes of this, but yeah, I think that I can do this live at this speed. So let's just watch like a minute more, and then we can.
I know, obviously, with my profession, I crossed a boundary, with the contract that I signed. But legally, I didn't think I would be classified as a felon being charged with having sex with a consenting adult.
Okay, so you knew from a teacher standpoint, just teacher ethics,
Correct.
that it was a breach of your contractual agreement.
Right.
Knucklehead.
So you have no problem with that part of it. You said, I agreed not to have sex with the students.
Mm-hmm.
And then you did.
Mm-hmm.
Come on.
But you thought, okay, so then fire me, but don't charge me as a felon.
Correct.
So you were surprised when you were charged.
Yes, I was very surprised.
Did you think he showed it around school for bragging rights?
From what I've heard, yes, it was exactly what it was, bragging rights.
How did you find out that it had been displayed around school?
Well, from numerous amounts of people who said that the video had been sent out. And then my mother's coworker, also her niece had the video, and that's how we saw it for the first time.
Oh, her mom saw it. Her mother's coworker said, "Hey, yo, you're never gonna believe this."
You saw it with your mother?
Yes.
How'd that go? I don't know how.
Oh, Dr. Phil, man. Dr. Phil. Man, oh man, oh man. Have you guys noticed that since he's going off the air soon, he's just gone straight into like all types of social topics that he's not even trying to play games anymore as far as like not get canceled or whatever. He's like, whatever, man. We're gonna talk about cancel culture and all types of stuff, So
watch something like that with my mother.
Well, it's only 10 seconds, and you can obviously tell it's it was hidden. There's no flash. It's really quick.
You said he had the phone in his pocket?
Somewhere on the pocket, on somewhere where he was in his grasp to reach.
Because he didn't have any pockets at the time, did he? So you mean you didn't see it?
Right.
So it wasn't like y'all made a sex tape.
Oh no, nothing.
He made a sex tape.
Correct.
You were just in it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And did you?
Look at that. And she's not ashamed of this at all.
Ask him, what the hell are you doing?
No, I haven't spoken to him.
You never asked him, why did you do this?
No.
All right, next. Tanya says Tristan pursued her, and this was a one-time mistake. Is that true? Or was Tanya, as prosecutors allege, a seductress, using her high school as her hunting ground?
All right, guys, we can stop this here. Does anyone know what state that this is in? Because, so for those of you who aren't in the states, some states have the age of consent is 17. I think one of the southern states, it's 16. But most of the time, places, it's 18, right? Steve, what's the age of consent in Michigan? Since you guys have all the issues over there.
I honestly don't know. I thought it was 16 or 18. It's one of the two.
18.
I'm pretty sure it's 18.
Your parents?
In Michigan. Let me see. Oh, here's a chart, guys. This law firm has this on here. Apparently, they deal with this a lot. All right, so we got Michigan is 16, Florida is 8.
Oh, it is
18.
16.
That's shocking.
Well, I know that at least I'm pretty sure in Michigan, you can do what's that? What was that guy's name? Why can't I think of it? Marriage contract guy. Jeff Sokol.
Sokol, yeah,
You can, yeah, you can do what he was saying at 16.
Pizza Man, right? Oregon is 18. Washington is 16. California is 8. Hawaii is 16. Wow. Where else? Maine is 16. Like I said, Florida is 18. That's shocking to me. Nevada's 16. That's not a shock. Utah, yeah, 18. That's Rhode Island, right? Yeah. Wow, so many are 16. That's unfortunate, right? Man, oh man.
I think it might be 16 with parents' consent, though.
Oh, that doesn't make me feel good.
By the way, AJ, I posted in the Discord a link to an article about the guy that I told you about last time getting arrested playing Pokemon Go.
Oh, did you?
Hold on. I did. I didn't read the article a lot myself. I just read the very beginning of it, and I was like, "Yeah, this is him."
Here it is. I was trying to. I gotta go here in a second, but look what you made me do. Let's share this tab instead. Milford man follows Pokemon Go into police custody. Can you guys see this, right? You guys can see this, right? Or am I still sharing the wrong thing? Hold on. StreamYard. Okay, here it is. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we can see it.
Okay. Police said the village resident was riding his bike at 10:30 a.m. looking at his smartphone in order to follow along with a map in the wildly popular new Pokemon Go game when he perhaps unknowingly arrived at the police station. The Milford police station, like many others, is designated by Pokemon Go as a gym where you can fight your monsters, but the game's maps don't list street names for gym seekers and make it difficult for users to know where they're headed. It didn't take long after he arrived, clad in pajama pants and a t-shirt, for the man to realize the Pokemon gym he'd been seeking was the Milford police station, where he was wanted on a warrant. A couple of our officers looked out the window and saw him standing out by the flagpole. Police Chief Tom Lindbergh noted after numerous run-ins, police who recognized him immediately and went out to greet and arrest the man. Lindbergh said he wasn't sure the man even realized where he was headed, that the location-based mobile game uses GPS to guide users as they explore real-life surroundings and search of virtual images. When I first learned about this game, I was very concerned it's going to take adults into places that they shouldn't necessarily be and get hurt if they're not paying attention to what's around them. But I never thought that someone with a warrant would be so driven by the game that they walk right up to the police station. The man added, the man he had was wanted on a misdemeanor warrant for failure to appear in court on a break and entering charge, was arraigned following his arrest and released on personal bond. Wow. What an idiot, man. We gonna talk about
Yeah, I wasn't lying.
Well, that's Michigan for you. I also pulled up a thing where it says like there was some fight to raise the age of consent in Michigan. Look at this poster thing. Here, let me share. Raise the age in Michigan. A major goal of Kids Count project is to raise. Oh, this is for juvenile court jurisdiction for 17 to 18 years of age. Never mind. I lied. I thought that was the age of consent. Okay. But anyways, all right, you guys. Any closing comments before we close this down here? Steve, Luna?
Nah, I have nothing. I'm too sleepy.
Well, hey, Luna, what time is it there?
It's 1 a.m.
Oh my goodness! And Liverpool Cat Lady just joined. It's probably the same time around there too. Yeah, man. Yeah. So guys, before I head out, I think Josh and Steve have volunteered to be part of the panel for the first Lauren Armstrong episode. That was you, right, Steve? Or am I mistaken?
No, yeah,
Yeah,
I volunteered.
Yeah, so I would like 2 more volunteers, and we'll be like the permanent panel for the call, and then we can take calls after a certain point. But what we can do is go into kind of like why we think that Lauren got so popular, right? We'll kind of give our synopsis of like, what about this knucklehead drew so many people to pump this guy up, right? Like, and then what we can do is take some callers and have them give their testimony too. Their Lauren's testimony, right? And then we can react to the first part of his chat log, right? So we'll see how far we can get into the chat log there. And then the second episode, we can go more into the chat log with a different panel. And then we can do the segment on the third. And after that, it's going to be all like background. So it'll be like the church COD, his YouTube stuff, and all of that. But I figure based on how the 2 episodes go, we can kind of pace the rest of them. So I'm going to need 2 more volunteers. So anyone who wants to volunteer, drop that in the Discord, which I will put the link to right now for everyone. If you haven't joined yet, join. We talk about all types of funny stuff over there. And I'm actually going to build out the Discord more so that we have more structured stuff there. So, but here we go. So we should have joined. And yeah, thanks you guys for calling in. And Luna, I believe there's you and Darling are both in Germany. Always feel free to call in and never ever think that anyone's going to judge you for your accent. Your accent's great. Your English is great. Never ever let anyone judge you for anything. Trust me, as a person who has a speech impediment, right? I don't stand for anyone shaming anyone on their speech or an accent or anything. That's not gonna fly over here. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
So, all right, everyone. I appreciate you all. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your evening, and I'll be dropping videos soon this week. Okay? Everyone, have a good one. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Well, I wonder
Good night, guys.